What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. NBA DFS video. It is Wednesday. It is November 12th. Huge 12-game slate. I think this is the second time this year that we've had a 12-game slate. So if you've never been here before, we've already ran 10,000 simulations in the background. Anytime we have a minimum of 5 games, we're going to give you 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value picks at each position. On top of that, we're going to give you our top 5 value picks early through the first 10,000 sims. When it's a day like this, every single day we do 20,000 sims. So we're going to give you your first look at the NBA, massive NBA slate today. We're also going to try to have giveaways. So 2 giveaways in every single video, and here's how you can win. You got to like this video, you got to be a subscriber to the channel, and you must leave a comment. You do all 3 of those, in this video right here gets a minimum of 50 likes. You will have a shot at a free week of FTA+. So that is a week of all current sports. So that is NBA, NFL, PGA, and MMA. If the video gets 100 likes, a chance at a free month, 150 likes, a free year, 200 or more likes on this video, you will have a chance at a lifetime pass, which is worth $500. Second way to win, somewhere in the video there'll be a keyword or key phrase. Just type it in and we will pick you, hopefully, to win a second or have a second chance at a free week. So we're going to see who the 2 winners or the winners of yesterday's video is. Just one, because we only got 39 likes in that video. So this will just be for the keyword. Now, the keyword yesterday was Keith. So we will see who the winner for. There you go. Cujo Blue, congratulations. You know the drill. Please email me dfshelp1@gmail.com. Say you are the 1111 keyword winner, and then tell me your username on fantasyteamadvisors.com. It's that simple. It's that easy. So after we go through each position, we're then going to build you a DraftKings tournament lineup and a Fanduel tournament lineup. It is a first come, first serve type thing. We are looking at these. There are so many players that have questionable or game time decision tags today. I fully expect these lineups to change a little bit. So we're going to give you a first look, but if you do need a little bit more help, NBA tab, we've got simulations, we got bets, we got positional, fantasy points allowed by position, we got chalk, we've got projections, and we've got a cheat sheet with some starting optimal lineups there. Like I said, there are so many questionable people. Like you can just see, just right now, there's so many value should open up today. We will talk about that. So we'll do our early value. I fully expect a ton more value to open up a couple hours before tip off, because these game time decision or questionable people are going to be ruled in or out probably pretty early today. So we're going to go 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value. So top is exactly what it sounds like. Top plays at each position. Mid tier is like around 8K to 6K range. And then values normally for me, 5K or below, minimum of 20 fantasy points. Sometimes we're going to get like 6 to 7 times value. And that's exactly what we need. So that being said, we're going to go position by position. And we're going to hopefully have some fun on a Wednesday. So we've got Luka at the top. He's not the best matchup. Is the first DVP against the position. So not ideal, but 56 to 60 fantasy points is what I'm looking at there. Cade Cunningham is questionable right now. I've got him early projections right around 50 fantasy points. It will really just depend. Being 10K at 50 fantasy points, that's not enough. Okay, so that's only 5 times value, less than 5 times value. I'm probably not going to pay up for Cade Cunningham. If I'm going to pay up, I'm probably paying up for Luka because he has a higher ceiling. Devin Booker, where we're looking at right around 45 to 50 fantasy points. So then we come down into into this region here for point guard. And you've got outs here, but we're looking in this region here. Mid tier, Ja Morant, I'm looking about 40 fantasy points. Steph Curry right around 40, and then Jalen Brunson right around 40. Jalen might have the best matchup there. 26 DVP, right around the same price point there. So Jalen might be an interesting pick over the other guys. And then if we go to value, and again, value is normally 5K or below is what I'm kind of looking at in this range. In this range right here. But Lonzo Ball being 3,900, if he gets the expected start, we're looking about 27 to 30 fantasy points out of him, which is exactly what we need out of him. Trey Mann, I'm looking about 27 to 30. And then Colin Gillespie, I'm looking about 26 to 30 fantasy points himself. So let's move to the shooting guard position. Mitchell already being ruled out for rest. Josh Giddey is questionable. I do have Giddey early right now, 15 DVP, so right in the middle, about 45 to 48 fantasy points. James Harden right around 44 to 48, and Jaylen Brown right around 42 to 45 fantasy points. Come down into this region here. I'm looking at Jaime Jaquez Jr. right around 36 fantasy points, Trey Murphy the third about 36, and Zach LaVine right around 34 to 38. And then value-wise, if you come down towards the bottom, again, right around 5K, I've got Reed Shepard right around 25 to 28 fantasy points going up against Washington, 30th DVP, a great matchup for him. Malik Monk right around 25 to 28, 20th DVP. And then Duncan Robinson for Detroit, 12th DVP, right around 23 to 25 fantasy points. So we'll move to the small forward position right now. And again, things will change. There's so many. This might be the most amount of players I've ever seen already ruled out or a game time decision, which is wild to think about. But it's a huge slate, so it's kind of expected in that same sense. So looking, I mean, you can just see all of this here. But at the top right now, I've got Kevin Durant against Washington, 29 DVP here, about 42 to 45. Miles Bridges, about 42 to 45. Paolo Banchero, right around 40 to 43 fantasy points. Mid-tier range, DeMar DeRozan, right around 35 fantasy points. OG Anunoby, about 32 to 35. And Tumani Kamara, about 31 to 34 fantasy points. And then value-wise, coming down into this region here, give or take this area here, I've got Karis LeVert right around 22 fantasy points, Marcus Smart about 22, and then Harrison Barnes right around 22 fantasy points as well. Now, again, these are floor projections. The value will open up throughout the day, but the value plays, they need to play. You would love to see 20 plus minutes, but if they're like 15 minutes, we need 1.5 to 2.2 fantasy points per minute, kind of pay off that price just because they might not be on the floor as much as we need. So Giannis is questionable right now. I've got him in the middle DVP against Charlotte, about 56 to 60 fantasy points. Karl Anthony Towns, about 44 fantasy points. Sabonis, right around 43 to 46 fantasy points. Mid-tier, right in this range here. Kind of moving away from all of the landmines that people are already out or questionable, which is wild to look at already. But Alex Sarr, about 34 fantasy points. Andrew Wiggins, about 31. Kristaps Porzingis, about 31 fantasy points as well. Then we get down into the value here. Josh Minott, about 25 fantasy points. Herbert Jones, about 24. And Nikola Jovic, right around 24 to 28 fantasy points. Now we're moving to the center position. Jokic is at the top. I love him. He's my favorite play of the day. He's the picture of the video in the article for a reason. I've got him right around 60 fantasy points. Obviously, he's averaging 63. We're never going to project him out to 100 plus, but he is a guy who can get 100 burger any given night. Victor Wembanyama, right around 54 to 60 fantasy points. And Nikola Vucevic, right around 39 to 42 fantasy points. Coming down a little bit further, Mark Williams, right around 36 to 40 fantasy points, going up against Dallas, 29 DVP. I love that matchup for him. Jarrett Allen, right around 35 fantasy points. Jaren Jackson Jr., about 35 fantasy points as well. And then value, like there's so many plays. I don't even know if we need to go down for value at center position tonight, but if you want to, I've got Bobby Portis right around 24 to 28 fantasy points. Derek Queen right around 23 to 25. And Drew Eubanks right around 22 to 25 fantasy points for Eubanks. It just depends if the minutes are going to be there. Now, I say that because looking at Drew Eubanks, he's averaging 15. Minutes-wise, they've been very up and down, but you can see 22 minutes, 27.9 fantasy points. 13 minutes, 13.7, 23, 23, 32, 25. If he can get 20 minutes, we're looking pretty good at 3,800. It just depends on if the minutes are going to be there and if he's going to get the run in that game. Drew Eubanks, Atlanta, 6 DVP, so not the best matchup for him. But he's in a good spot if he gets those minutes. So those are just some of the projections and some of the simulations. If you want to see all of them, it's $10 a week. It's $30 a month. It's $200 for a year. A lifetime pass is normally $500. We still have 7 spots available. If you are interested in a lifetime pass, you can get it for $150. All you got to do is email me dfshelp1@gmail.com. If you want to check that out, you can get that there. So that being said, we are going to give you our top overall value, top 5 overall right now. Now, again, a ton of things are going to change today just because of the sheer amount of players in there and the sheer amount of players that are questionable or game time decision already. So our top 5 value picks through 10,000 sims. Lonzo Ball's at the top, about 27 fantasy points, but he's 3,900. Number 2 is Ronald Holland. Looking at that, number 3 is Dean Wade. Just depends if he gets the minutes. 4 is Drew Eubanks. And 5 is John Collins against Denver. Now, these are early 10,000 sims. It will change a little bit. So that being said, keyword of the day is hump day because it is Wednesday. We are going to build you some lineups. I built you a DraftKings lineup right there. Now, again, early projections, early simulations have this as a pretty good DraftKings lineup. Connor Gillespie, all the way down to Jared Allen. If you need to pause the video, we will enter that in there. If you've never been to the channel before, welcome, though, because we're going to have Thursday Night Football breakdown. We're going to have Sunday Night Football breakdown, Monday Night Football breakdown. We're going to have a main slate this week. We're going to have a ton of information for you. We're going to have a stacks video. Same thing with the NFL every single week. So that being said, we are going to build you an early FanDuel tournament lineup with the majority of these players. The majority don't have any tags, but Colin Sexton's one. He is questionable, but it's probable with an ankle. So anytime, obviously you have an ankle problem and you're running up and down the court, you can re-aggravate it at any time. That's the only downside of taking a player that has already kind of a designation going into the game. So that's something to monitor. Got Karl Anthony Towns there, and then we're going to do Mark Williams as well. So there you have it. That is your FanDuel lineup. We've done our DraftKings lineup. We got Westbrook all the way down to Mark Williams. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, get those down below. Trying to answer them for you as much as I possibly can. We do have a free Discord. We also have 3 ways to get some free content of FTA Plus in the description of this video. We have a FanDuel, DraftKings, and Fanatics Sportsbooks links. If you've never signed up for 1, 2, or 3 of those, sign up using our link, deposit a minimum of $20, enter your first bet, and then email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. If you show us proof that you guys signed up with our links, we are going to give you a free month of FTA Plus for every single site that you guys sign up for using our link. We also have a free DraftKings league down below. It's $5 to enter each week. Each week, top 3 places pay. At the end of the year, the top 3 teams that have the most amount of points, first place will win a lifetime pass, second place will win a yearly pass, and third place will win a monthly pass to FTA Plus. So that being said, let's have a great Wednesday. Good luck, whether or not you're doing this. We have golf tomorrow. We have MMA this weekend. We have NBA this weekend. We have NFL this weekend. So let's have a great day. Good luck. And as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.